People who have worked for the ultra-wealthy, what are some of their deepest, darkest secrets? There's a few, but having a nude painting of yourself in the foyer of guest house was one. I couldn't believe it. Lowell, a friend is a house manager for a centerfold married to a now-deceased several hundred millionaire. Her places are filled with 10 to 30-year-old nudes on herself in every art format. It was awkward at first, apparently. If I had a vagina that had earned me $100 million, would also have pics of it all over my house. A surprising number of them are hoarders, like mansion-level filth hidden behind marble gates. Rich doesn't mean clean. Seriously, this is no joke. A friend was a private chef in Malibu to a super wealthy family, and they not only left their messes and garbage everywhere, they wouldn't even close the cabinets and drawers that they opened. The housekeeper said they wouldn't flush the toilets after using them either. So gross. Yeah, my buddy used to live with his multi-millionaire grandma in her weird, huge house. Trash everywhere. Weird art on every wall. Walk down a hallway and there's just a miniature but still like the size of a car wooden Viking ship. I swear to Christ there was a room waist deep with just doll heads. Just the heads. I asked my buddy about it and he said she wouldn't talk about it and it had been that way since before he was born. I wasn't super close with the guy, so Elle was only there like 4 times, but I would have paid money to clear everyone out and just go through the bizarre place. Like, this is the shit you can see. I would be absolutely unsurprised if there were secret passages in that house. After his grandmother died, there were people who simply refused to go to what was now his house because there's no fucking way that place isn't haunted. He was divorced and married a second wife. He never divorced, and the second wife is a mistress that he parades around as his wife. Actual wife doesn't give a shit as long as they're still rich, but won't let his second batch of kids inherit their joint assets. So he had to buy his second wife some income properties for security. She'll be okay, though. He bought her 100 mil worth of income properties. You work for Big Papa? I don't know if it's a deep secret, but they did seem to hide the reality from the image. They seemed like a stand-up family guy who'd created an empire from nothing. Their child committed suicide on Father's Day, and it was a clear statement of why they were doing it on that day from people who were close enough. But the death was very much hidden and written off as an accident and portrayed as something other than what it was. It wasn't an accident. It was a tortured soul's last outcry to their horrible, abusive father who was a piece of shit as an employer, so Elle can only imagine the horror he was as a parent. They chose that day to end their life, and even though I was a child when it happened, I remember realizing how much the day they chose was impactful in the grim circumstances. I worked for a guy doing a remodel on one of his bedrooms. One day, I was driving to his place and my truck broke down. All called to tell him I would be late due to breakdown. He sent me to the Ford dealership and put a F-350 on his Amex card about $80K and called it a bonus. It was about $30,000, but my boss did something similar. A contractor had pulled up driving a 30-year-old Honda Accord with a bad engine that sounded horrible. He told him to take it to the local Honda dealer and he would call ahead and pay to get it fixed. When he arrived, they were confused because they said that his assistant called ahead and bought a new Accord and told them he would be trading his current one and whatever the difference in value was just to charge it to them. Boss thought it would be a fun or a surprise to lie and say it was just going to be a free repair. Nepotism out the ass, routing all sorts of favors, money laundering, and bribes through various 501c3s and family foundations, and making sure they are photographed at their charitable events so everyone sees their philanthropy. Just starting to learn about 501c3s. They seem like a legal way to launder money for the unscrupulous. Too bad my wife has morals. People will tell you they're a nonprofit as if that means something. It's just a tax designation for a company. I used to have churches yelling at me for charging them tax and then telling me to help them understand what a determination letter was when I asked for one. I would just tell them they'd know what it is if they were actually a nonprofit.